has your crush been acting a little different around you lately? But you can't decide if it's good different or bad different. It can be difficult to figure out if someone is into you or not, especially if they're not saying it outright. A 2015 study found nonverbal communication has a huge influence on social interactions. Basically, it's like what Hitch says. 90% of what you're saying isn't coming out of your mouth. Nonverbal communication is huge when you're talking about your crush. So what are you missing? If your crush likes you, let's talk about these 6 things they might do. This video is based on personal opinion and previous experiences. Everyone is different and can show affection in different ways. If you think someone is into you, always be sure to have a conversation with them. Let's begin. Number 1, they use protective gestures when they're around you. Have you ever been driving with your crush or partner in the passenger seat and had to slam on the brakes? Your instinct is probably to keep hold of the wheel and throw your other hand out in front of the passenger to help keep them safe. This is called a protective gesture. But they don't always need to be huge acts. It can be as simple as opening a door, walking on the street side, or even handing you coffee while warning you it's hot. These small gestures show a special level of care, and that they not only like you, but they're also looking out for your well-being and want you to be okay. Most likely, your crush doesn't do this for everyone, so keep an eye out next time you're in a group of friends with your crush. Do they dote on their other friends too? If not, they probably like you. Number 2, they become a little bit of a copycat in the best way. Some say imitation is the best form of flattery. When you like someone or something, say a celebrity and their style, you tend to copy it. Does anyone remember when Avril Lavigne first wore a tie, so all the girls did too? It works the same way with your crush. If they like you, they might mirror the way that you speak, your energy level, or they may even start using the same words you do. But they're not trying to make fun of you. Subconsciously, they like you a lot, so they start picking up those little mannerisms, which means they might like you. Number 3, they gaze into your eyes, but not too much. When you and your crush are talking, where are they looking? Eye contact is one of the most telling signs that someone is into you. Eye contact shows that you're interested, and it can also make the person who you're looking at feel loved and attractive, as long as they feel the same. Now, we don't want 100% eye contact staring contests happening, which can actually be related to aggression or being territorial or possessive, and can make you feel super creeped out. But a little eye contact here and there can be a great sign that your crush likes you. Number 4, they laugh with, not at you. When you're talking with your crush and tell them a funny anecdote about yourself, their response can reveal any hidden feelings they may have. If they don't really respond to the story, they might not have been listening, which may mean they may not like you. If they use your story as a way to make fun of and belittle you, they definitely don't like you and don't sound like they have your best interest at heart. Now, the third reaction is what we're looking for. This is when they laugh with you at how funny the situation was, maybe with some lighthearted teasing, and use this as a way to bond and know you on a more intimate level. Number 5, they don't use anything to block you from them. They actually keep pretty close. Whenever someone feels uncomfortable, a polite way to create distance is to use an object. This might be something like holding your books in front of you to avoid an unwanted hug, or maybe holding a backpack close to you as a shield in situations where a level of tact is needed, such as being at work and not being able to tell someone to get away from you. But your crush will do the total opposite. They'll want to use more open body language and remove any obstacles between you two. You'll notice they sit close to you too, which is a sure sign someone has a crush on you. And number 6, they call you with big news. It's 2022. If someone's calling you, it's probably either your student loans or a telemarketer. A text is usually preferable. But when someone you know calls you with big news, good or bad, that's totally different. They not only wanted to physically tell you, but they wanted to hear your reaction too. It can also mean that they wanted to tell you before anyone else or posting it on social media. Do you do this with just anyone? Of course not. So if your crush does this, they probably like you. It can be hard to put yourself out there when it comes to revealing your feelings, especially when it's a 50-50 shot. But hopefully you now have a few tools in your toolbox and can spot some signs that your crush is into you. If you spot some, let us know in the comments below. What do you do next? We want to know. As always, the references and studies listed are in the description below. And remember, keep an eye on Psy for more Psych2Go content. Until next time. Are you looking for a way to gain clarity about who you are and how you fit and interact with the world? The Enneagram test is just for you. With philosophical and mystic roots blended with science, it's a popular typology that assigns everyone a personality type. The American Journal of Psychiatry defines the system as a personality theory describing 9 strategies by which the psyche develops a worldview and relates to self and others. Ian Morgan Cron, a psychotherapist and Enneagram teacher, explains, "We adopt these in childhood as a way to cope, protect ourselves, and navigate the new world of relationships in which we find ourselves. The Enneagram is unique because it maps your psyche by breaking down personalities in terms of motivations, your basic fears, and even your most suited career. Here are the 9 types of Enneagram. Type 1, idealist. You interact with the world by striving to be perfect. Also known as the reformers, you seek moralistic behavior and reform. You're naturally positive with a heart for helping others. You go by the book and make sure that you're always doing the right thing. As a result, it's difficult for you to delegate or take risks. Type 2, caregiver. Diana Redmond, a practicing Enneagram teacher and coach, says, a 2's focus is to take care of others' needs in an effort to feel loved and accepted. As emotional thinkers and hard workers, you are extremely attentive to helping other people in any way you can. This desire to be fully loved and accepted comes from your fear of being unwanted or unloved by those around you. A 2 may believe consciously or subconsciously that love is only gained and earned by serving others. Type 3, performer. The Enneagram official site calls them the achiever. If you're a 3, this shows you're driven by success and a desire to look as good as possible to others. You seek accomplishment and admiration by setting big goals and doing what it takes to succeed in order to earn validation. This helps mask your basic fear of being regarded as a failure or worthless. According to Redmond, your goal is to be perceived as successful in the eyes of others. Type 4, creative. Redmond says, people who get type 4 are artistic with an eye for beauty. 4s are sensitive souls with a passion for various art forms, and so you make great writers, designers, actors, and artists. The basic desire of the type 4 is to build an individual and authentic identity and to express it in the world. 4s may feel misunderstood if others fail to recognize their unique identifying traits. Type 5, thinker. Type 5s have earned a reputation as the absent-minded professor. They're excellent deep thinkers and make great engineers, scientists, and scholars. If you get a type 5, you're introspective and thoughtful. The most basic desire of the Enneagram type 5 is to feel helpful and competent. So you passionately pursue knowledge and gain new skills. 5s often prioritize developing their own intellect over most other things in life. You guard against your basic fear of being incompetent by withdrawing emotionally and physically from others. This may make you feel safer, but can also lead to loneliness. Type 6, loyalist. Type 6s perform well as bankers, professors, nurses, and consultants. According to the Enneagram Institute website, the most basic desire of the type 6 is to feel secure, which you seek through loyalty to others. The basic fear of the type 6 is losing personal support and stability. You crave predictable, safe environments. 6s tend to have an expect the worst, hope for the best mentality. Type 7, adventurer. Here we have our upbeat travel agents, designers, and die-hard photography fans. As type 7s, you want to live life to the fullest and experience all the world has to offer. You desire to feel stimulated and engaged. You go to great lengths to seek excitement and joy from new experiences. FOMO causes you to avoid schedules and concrete planning to allow for last-minute opportunities. You appreciate a positive, open-minded attitude and out-of-the-box ideas. Type 8, protector. Think lawyers, directors, or sales experts. Type 8s are confident, attention-commanding leaders, skilled in quick, effective decision-making. Your need to have control of your own fate stems from your desire to protect and defend yourself as well as others from injustice. However, at times, their need for control can be overwhelming, says Redmond. Your subconscious belief that vulnerability equals weakness makes you avoid it at all costs. This is because your greatest fear lies in being controlled or hurt by others. And type 9, peacekeeper. Do you seek to avoid conflict at all costs? Type 9s seek to feel safe, comfortable, and at peace with themselves. They're adaptable and agreeable teammates, dedicated to considering multiple perspectives. Internal peace is the most basic desire of the Enneagram type 9. The basic fear of the type 9 is that you may lose or be separated from others. You prevent this by remaining peaceful and avoiding conflict, potentially adapting to others' preferences rather than stating your own. By understanding your type, you can let go of habitual patterns that hold you back and open up to your own inherent gifts. Have you taken the Enneagram test? What number did you get? Let us know in the comments. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with loved ones. Until next time, take care, and we'll see you soon. Have you ever puzzled over the behavior of someone whose intellect you deeply admire and wondered if they might feel something for you? Picture this. There was that party when they asked a million questions about your life, interests, and dreams. They listened so intently that it was as if the two of you were in a world of your own. However, their motives remained a mystery to you. Sound familiar? Well, you've come to the right place. With that said, here are some signs that a highly intelligent person likes you. Attentive. Do you recall a time when they seem to recall even your most minor preferences? Maybe that one time they surprised you with your favorite cup of coffee, made just the way you like it. Emotional intelligence expert Dr. Daniel Goleman says, intelligent people are often very observant. Their attention to your likes and dislikes and their willingness to act on these details shows a strong inclination towards you. Interested. Do they seem genuinely interested in your dreams and ambitions? Like that night under the starlit sky when they were engrossed in your career ambitions? According to cognitive psychologist Dr. Robert Sternberg, intellectually curious people have an inherent interest in understanding others deeply. So if they're keen on knowing your life's goals and dreams, they're likely attracted to you. Detail-oriented. Have you ever been surprised by their ability to reference a detail from past discussions? They might casually bring up a tiny fact about your childhood pet you mentioned in passing. Memory strength is often linked to intelligence, says developmental molecular biologist Dr. John Medinat. If they can recall minor details from your conversations, it suggests they value your talks and hold a special place in their mind. Honest. Do you notice them sharing their thoughts and ideas with you openly? Like when they openly discuss their unique perspective on something like climate change. Dr. Travis Bradbury, an expert in emotional intelligence, states that highly intelligent people value transparency. If they're sharing their personal thoughts with you, it shows their trust and interest in strengthening the bond. If you find this video relatable and helpful, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Now, moving on to the next point. Respectful. Have they ever just automatically understood and given you space when you needed it, without you saying anything? Like when you're feeling overwhelmed, they seem to read it and give you space. Organizational psychologist Dr. Adam Grant says intelligent people understand and respect personal boundaries. If they're cognizant of your need for personal space, it shows they care for your well-being and are seriously interested in you. Empathetic. Have you ever found them empathizing with you? Like if you're going through a rough patch and they provide solace and understand your pain. Emotional intelligence expert Dr. Daniel Goleman asserts that empathy is a core aspect of emotional intelligence. Their ability to empathize indicates an emotional connection and perhaps attraction to you. Invested. Have you noticed they willingly spend time with you despite their busy schedule? For example, choosing to accompany you to a doctor's appointment instead of going to their favorite book club meeting. Renowned psychologist and time perception researcher, Dr. Philip Zimbardo, suggests that intelligent people manage their time efficiently. If they're investing time in you, it shows they prioritize your relationship and really like you. Engaged. Have you ever found yourself deep in conversation with someone discussing things beyond the latest trends or gossip? Like maybe it's midnight and you've forgotten about time, lost in an engrossing conversation about the philosophical implications of artificial intelligence. Intelligence researcher Dr. James Flynn suggests that intellectually driven individuals seek deep, meaningful discussions and thrive on thought-provoking dialogues. If they engage you in deep, stimulating conversations and respect your opinion enough to contest it, it's a clear sign of deep interest. When your discussions frequently reach philosophical depths or touch upon complex ideas, they're not just feeding your intellect, but also relishing the connection they're forming with you. Whether it's a friendly debate over the latest sci-fi movie or delving into the mysteries of the universe, these intellectually stimulating exchanges indicate a profound interest in both the subject matter and you as a conversational partner. So, do you notice any of these signs in someone who you consider smart? We'd love to hear your experiences, so feel free to comment down below. You can also share this video with someone who may find it helpful. Until next time. Are you looking for a cuddly companion that brings positivity and mental wellness to your daily life? Get your very own Psy. The lovable plushie is here to brighten your days. It embodies the spirit of Psych2Go, and it serves as a reminder to prioritize your mental well-being. Its green leaf symbolizes growth, renewal, and the importance of self-care. Whether it's for yourself or as a thoughtful gift for a loved one, Psy is ready to be your snuggly friend through all of life's ups and downs. Buy your Psy plushie today. Link is listed in the description box.
In the dark and twisted world of Gotham City, a toxic bond unravels. It's when Dr. Harleen Quinzel becomes Harley Quinn and finds herself ensnared by the manipulative and abusive Joker. Even in real life, many people are falling into that same trap called trauma bond. For them, love will be painful and dangerous until they get the strength to escape. Are you one of those people? In this video, we'll take a look at Harley and Joker's relationship to help you see if you're stuck in a trauma bond. Traumatic roots. As a psychology intern, Dr. Harleen Quinzel treats the untreatable Joker at Arkham Asylum. From the start, he senses her vulnerability and preys on her ambition and compassion. He shares stories of his abusive childhood, intertwining humiliation with humor. He undresses himself without her consent, blurring boundaries. At that moment, he claims dominance and Harley is conquered. Instead of feeling repulsed, her brain sees shelter. In the midst of chaos, she's under his spell. And this is how a trauma bond is born. Out of the traumatic event. When you've been hurt by your partner in some way, it triggers intense emotional and physiological responses. Heightened arousal with increased release of stress hormones leads your brain to perceive the abuser as a source of safety. It seems paradoxical, but it's what it needs in order to survive. Before you know it, your brain adapts to this fate, forming a bond with the abuser. Love me, then hate me. As their relationship goes on, it's all but rainbows and sunshine. When Harley messes up, the Joker delivers punishment by grabbing, slapping, and throwing her. He shouts at her, declaring her a disappointment, a failure, a dolt. He isolates her from others and makes her believe she deserves it. But the very rare displays of affection, which he barely even mumbles, get her heart racing again. What we see here is the maintenance of a trauma bond. By using a psychological mechanism called intermittent reinforcement, your abuser alternates between periods of kindness or affection and episodes of abuse. They might insult you one day, only to bring you flowers the next, with tears in their eyes promising they'd change. That's when you enter a cycle of hope and despair, fearing the abuse but yearning for the love that follows after. False beliefs and loyalties. And just like Harley, you might not even feel abused anymore. When the Joker pushes her out of the window and her limp body hits the ground, she tells us that it's her fault. She should have got the joke. At this point in your trauma bond, you've developed cognitive distortions, which are inaccurate thinking patterns. You might rationalize or justify their behavior, blame yourself for the abuse, or minimize the harm done. Once again, your brain distorts your reality, desperately trying to survive by keeping you in a fantasy world. This further solidifies the trauma bond by creating a sense of loyalty or attachment to your abuser. You see them as caring, charming, damaged. Harley explained it best. It soon became clear to me the Joker, so often described as a raving, homicidal madman, was actually a tortured soul crying out for love and acceptance. A lost, injured child trying to make the world laugh at his antics. Just like Harley, you want to love your abuser. You want to care. You want to save them. But it's you who needs to be saved. Running towards the light. If you're in a trauma bond, we know your feelings towards this person might be very strong, and you may not feel like leaving. We understand that maybe at some point in the past, they were your bright light. But those who love you shouldn't hurt you like that. They should make you feel good about yourself, not the opposite. And you don't deserve this. Please don't wait until it's too late. Call a trusted friend, a family member, your doctor, or even the police if you're in physical danger. In the description box, we linked some hotlines and resources you can visit to help you come up with an escape plan. We believe that you can find a way to snap this bond apart. Find yourself again. Thanks for watching, and remember, you matter.
Are you looking for a cuddly companion that brings positivity and mental wellness to your daily life? Get your very own Psy. The Lovable plushie is here to brighten your days. It embodies the spirit of Psych2Go, and it serves as a reminder to prioritize your mental well-being. Its green leaf symbolizes growth, renewal, and the importance of self-care. Whether it's for yourself or as a thoughtful gift for a loved one, Psy is ready to be your snuggly friend through all of life's ups and downs. Buy your Psy plushie today. Link is listed in the description box.
Have you ever wondered when it is appropriate to make a move on your crush? Do you feel like you can't tell whether or not she's giving you any signs? Human behavior is sometimes confusing, but there are some general signs that people exhibit when they are interested in somebody and they want that other person to make a move. Here are 5 signs your crush is waiting for you to make a move. Now let's begin. Number 1, eye contact and smiling. When someone makes eye contact and smiles at you, it means that they are interested in you. The eye contact could be brief, long, or you could feel them staring when you're not looking. This mostly applies to women, according to studies. Social psychology expert Madeleine A. Fugere, PhD, says when women are attracted to someone, we tend to make eye contact and smile. Smiling and eye contact increase activity in the area of the brain associated with reward. The frequency of sustained eye contact varies across cultures, but eye contact and smiling can make you seem more attractive to others. If you notice that your crush is directing their smiles and eye contact consistently toward you, this might be a sign that it is safe to make a move and go talk to them. But what about men? According to Madeleine, men may show different signs. When it comes to men, you may catch them looking at you for a long time, parting their lips spontaneously, flaring their nostrils, and flashing their brows upwards, explains Regain, an individual and couples therapy site. Regain also states that in conversation, you may see men nervously graze their faces with their hands, straighten their clothes, and have their feet pointed toward you. They may also run their fingers through their hair. All of these are signs that a man likes you and that he may want you to make a move. Number 2, mirroring. Mirroring is one of the most telling signs that someone is not only interested in you, but also wants you to make a move. Limbic synchrony, also known as mirroring, is when a person mimics or reflects certain body language like movements, voice patterns, and facial expressions of another person that they like or are interested in. From an evolutionary standpoint, it is a behavior developed as a form of survival, but it is also a sign of trust. An article in Imagine Health, a psychological support website, states that the whole point of mirroring is that it's a way to better understand others and connect with them. Being able to mirror someone is the same as being able to listen to someone. If someone mirrors you, it means they are listening to you on a deeper level. It likely means that this person may be interested in you in a more romantic way, which is a good indication to make a move.
If you find this video relatable and helpful, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Now, moving on to the next point.
Number 3, notice and remember things about you. If you are interested in someone but don't know if you should make a move, try to become aware of whether or not this other person notices and remembers small things about you that no one else seems to notice. Similar to mirroring, when people are attracted to someone, they often tend to notice or remember things about that other person that nobody else does. They do this to let the other person know that they're listening and they are paying attention to them. As the gentleman within article states, most people won't even notice that you adjust your glasses when you're nervous, or that you always log into your social media every day at 7:20 p.m., but they somehow have noticed these small details and more. Or she remembers something that you like and you ask her about it, and she says you told her about it a whole year ago. These signs mean she's into you. Number 4, tries to be close or touch you. Generally speaking, when we like or trust someone, we want to be close to them. Closeness can mean different things, ranging from just being in the same vicinity to touching skin to skin. According to Verywell Mind, physical touch can create emotional intimacy by releasing oxytocin, also known as the feel-good hormone. This starts creating an emotional, mental, and chemical bond between the two people that can be taken further if both decide to. Proximity is also a way to slowly become more intimate with another person. Notice how the more you know and trust someone, the more you let them into your personal space. If you notice that the person you like tries to be close to you or is always finding excuses to touch you, it may be a sign that they like you and want you to make a move. Number 5, asking. Another sign that your crush may be waiting for you to make a move is that they ask if you consider them dateable if you think they look good, or they ask you for advice on a number of things. People ask others for help or advice when they want to be around them, or they know they can help with their problems. So if you notice that your crush tries to ask or talk to you often, it may be a sign that they like you and want you to make a move. Of course, the surest sign you can get is by asking them directly if they like you. Yes, it is scary. Yes, there's a possibility that there may be rejection. But if you want to know without a reasonable doubt, asking them directly is your best bet. Did you find this useful? Tell us about your experiences in the comments below. Don't forget to follow and subscribe to the channel for more interesting tidbits on psychology and behavior. Until next time. And remember, you matter.
You did badly on a test, and now you feel bad for scoring so low in class. That's normal shame. You did badly on a test, and now you feel you will never amount to anything because you are a failure. That's toxic shame. Dr. Jacqueline Simon Gunn, a Manhattan-based clinical psychologist, says, shame is not always a harmful emotion in its milder forms of shyness and humility, but toxic shame destroys self-esteem and fuels the negative emotions in depression and anxiety. Victims of trauma and abuse are especially susceptible to toxic shame. Unlike guilt, which motivates a person to change their behavior, toxic shame makes a person feel as though change is impossible. Accumulation of these feelings of toxic shame ultimately lead to shame-based depression, says licensed professional counselor Rachel Eddins. Here are 5 ways you can recognize toxic shame. I'm a burden to those around me. Living with shame-based depression often leads to you avoiding relationships. Your internal critic continually judges and criticizes you, telling you that you are inadequate. You're worried you might be inconveniencing others and that others might grow tired of you, so you hold back from being your true self or asking for emotional support. Research in the Annual Review of Psychology shows that shame leads people to hide and self-conceal, sometimes even going as far as withdrawing completely from the real world. You feel you aren't worthy of being happy and purposefully undermine your happiness because you're convinced you're undeserving. I must make up for things that are not my fault. I'm to blame for what happened. It's entirely my fault. Shame-based depression causes you to internalize everything that happens. You apologize even for things that are not your fault and blame yourself for things that you cannot control. A 2016 study published in the Journal of Psychology found that shame is associated with the suppression of emotions. You often keep your thoughts and feelings to yourself. This way you avoid speaking your mind in an attempt to keep things on course and improve the situation. You try to compensate for feelings of unworthiness by pleasing others and being exceptionally giving. These can only help temporarily and ultimately make matters worse. A never-ending downward spiral of despair or hopelessness. Struggling with shame-based depression is often accompanied with feeling worthless and anxious. Knowing that there's things to do and being unable to do them makes you feel helpless. You experience shame anxiety, an undermining and persistent anxiety about being judged, labeled, and rejected by others. Research published in the Journal of Clinical Psychology and Psychotherapy found that shame can be a contributing factor to depression, anxiety, and codependency. The ADAA reports that close to half of people diagnosed with depression are also diagnosed with anxiety. You believe in avoidance of future shame. Shame-based depression all but binds you from taking risks. This is in an attempt to defend against being devalued by others. According to a study in the Journal of Psychological and Cognitive Sciences, when struggling with shame-based depression, you keep yourself from making decisions that may lead to further disapproval by others. Low self-esteem that plagues depressed individuals leads them to fear more rejection or failure, says counselor Margaret Wernberg. So even if you contemplate trying to do something, you hold back because you fear that you won't do it well or be judged negatively. But sometimes this can also lead to avoiding healthy risks. You only make decisions about jobs, relationships, and school that you feel certain will end well. Thinking, I'm a bad person, not I did a bad thing. Author Brené Brown defines guilt as understanding you messed up and did something wrong, but you're able to move on from the action and not have it become a failing or flaw. Shame is when you connect the action with who you are as an identity. We're all human and make mistakes. With shame-based depression, you think you're a bad person and incapable of getting it right, so you often quit. You believe you're unworthy of love, and you continue in that same vein because you don't believe that change or healing is possible. Recognizing these feelings of toxic shame can help be the first step in battling shame-based depression. Challenging them needs time and practice. Treating yourself with compassion can dissolve toxic shame. You don't have to go through this alone. Learning coping techniques with a mental health professional can help you take additional steps to overcome shame-based depression. I know from firsthand experience. If you found this video helpful, please give it a thumbs up and share it with your loved ones. We value your support and can't wait to bring you more informative content in the future. Take care, and we'll see you soon. Many people think they have to follow some life script to be happy. Have lots of friends, go to a prestigious school, get married, and have kids. This mindset can be toxic and might make you feel incomplete or purposeless. Introverts especially suffer from this mindset since many would rather keep to themselves, self-reflect, and feel pressured to be extroverted. Here are key tips for living a happy, introverted life. Redefine your happiness. Almost everyone seeks happiness, but only some know what it looks like for them. For some people, happiness means having a family, a dog, and a white picket fence. For others, happiness is obtained through mastering new skills like drawing or writing. An artist may define happiness as having their work in a world-renowned gallery. An author may find happiness in having been published. Many times, happiness is defined as something to be obtained and possessed. But positive psychology coach and very well-minded blogger, Derek Carpenter, argues that one consistent theme in happiness research is that your choices and behaviors, which are in your control and changeable, have significant effects on your well-being. In short, it means we can choose to be happy without having excess things or meeting specific goals. Allow yourself to be satisfied whether or not you succeed in life, and give yourself grace when you fall short of others' expectations. Not being extroverted doesn't mean you're incapable of achieving happiness. It just means you have a different definition of what happiness is. Let go of surface pressure. For better or worse, other people often affect the choices we make. This mindset is typically the result of societal surface pressure. We care a lot about what others think, so our actions and decisions will usually reflect what others want from us. Licensed psychologist Ari Yaras notes that Disney's Encanto showcases many prime examples of societal pressure. In the case of the super strong Luisa, she is genuinely struggling with meeting the expectations of others and wonders what will happen
if I could shake the crushing weight of expectations. Would that free up some room for joy or relaxation or simple pleasure?
According to BetterHelp, social pressure can lead us to behave in ways that aren't good for ourselves or the people around us. The desire to fit in can lead people to do things like take drugs or drink too much to be accepted by a peer group that participates in those kinds of activities. Introverts especially deal with this kind of societal pressure. An introvert may be told they're too boring or not fun enough. This kind of pressure can lead many introverts to feel the need to be more extroverted and social to be happy and accepted. Instead of giving into the pressure, think about what you want in life and make the moves to make it happen. You'll be happier following your path than the path of others. Enjoy the little things. Like rule number 32 says, enjoy the little things. You probably heard this tidbit of advice so many times it's easy to ignore or overlook. Still, a 2012 study at Rutgers University linked greater appreciation to increased life satisfaction, even more so than personality traits, gratitude, and demographic factors such as gender, age, and ethnicity. The results of this study suggested that taking time to appreciate the pleasures in life, no matter how small, can be extraordinarily beneficial and promote satisfaction. Little things to enjoy include taking long walks to enjoy the natural scenery, gardening, baking, or getting lost in a good book. If you're an introvert and reading or painting makes you happy, let yourself experience the feeling rather than keep it down. You don't have to only be happy when you're out with friends at a party. And you certainly don't have to save up your happiness for only special occasions like birthdays and weddings. You have every right to be happy any time of the year or day. Appreciating the little things can lead to lasting happiness. So stop to smell the flowers, and you may be amazed at how happy you become in the long run. Embrace quality over quantity. Yes, healthy and meaningful relationships play an integral role in our happiness. Extroverts are well known for making fast friends, while introverts are known for having limited but significant social ties. But what also rings true is the necessity for social connections. We often need our friends and family to feel happy and fulfilled because they offer a sense of belonging. Private psychologist Romeo Vitelli argues that people reporting more close friends showed greater social satisfaction and greater well-being overall. We feel loved just by being around them, but we don't need to be surrounded by friends and family 24/7 to be happy. Introverts, for instance, love their quiet time, but that doesn't mean they love their loved ones any less. They also often prefer quality over quantity. There's nothing wrong with that, since it can lead to more in-depth, enriching relationships. Stanford University professor of psychology, Laura Carstensen, argues we may even deliberately downsize our social networks to only a few close friends or family members to simplify our lives and preserve future health and well-being. Show yourself. Is anyone happy pretending to be someone they're not? Rodney Lane, a contributor to the Journal of Happiness Studies, says introverts are constantly pressured to be extroverted in the Western world. As noted, extroverts are highly regarded as leaders and team players, while introverts are often mislabeled as aloof or antisocial hermit types. This societal mislabeling can make many introverts look down on themselves as less than others and make them feel desperate to display extroverted traits that often go against their true nature. In response, cognitive scientist and humanistic psychologist Scott Barry Kaufman concluded that the biggest key to being a happy introvert is simply self-acceptance, not forcing oneself to repeatedly act out of character or to think of oneself as merely a deviation from an ideal personality. Instead of pretending to be someone you're not, accept and embrace who you are. You'll likely be much happier that way and see the true beauty behind the mask that is you. Don't be afraid. Show off the real you. Ultimately, there is no clear-cut path to happiness, and that is because everyone's definition of happiness can differ. If hanging with friends or reading a good book makes you happy, then by all means, go for it. But if you're trying to follow some life script and it's making you miserable, it's time to rip up the script.
From a young age, society teaches us to prioritize the needs of others and put our own desires on the back burner. We're told that selflessness is a virtue and that taking care of ourselves is selfish. But in reality, self-abandonment can have dire consequences for our well-being. Neglecting our own emotions, opinions, and values can lead to a sense of emptiness and disconnection from our true selves. That's why it's crucial to recognize the signs of self-abandonment and make a conscious effort to prioritize self-care and self-love. So let's dive into the warning signs that you may be neglecting your own needs. People-pleasing. Ever find yourself saying yes to requests, taking on more responsibilities than you can handle, or putting your own goals and desires on the back burner to accommodate others? This is people-pleasing. While it's natural to want to help others, when you constantly prioritize their needs before your own, it can be a sign that you're abandoning yourself. According to therapist and psychology professor, Dr. Teo Smith, individuals who tend to prioritize the satisfaction of others over their own well-being should explore ways of assisting others without causing harm to themselves. You can do this by setting boundaries and respectfully declining tasks that don't align with your comfort level, while still offering your support for the ones that do. Without a solid foundation of self-care, you can't truly be there for others in a sustainable way. You seek external validation. When you always put the needs of others before your own, you can develop a strong subconscious desire to receive praise, recognition, and validation from them as a way to feel good about yourself. But changing yourself to fit others' expectations can result in self-hatred, anxiety, and stress, especially when they fail to validate you. In the words of William Shakespeare, self-love, my liege, is not so vile a sin as self-neglecting. Remember that there is nothing wrong or shameful about who you truly are. When you learn to love yourself and stop seeking external validation, you can authentically integrate every part of yourself into everything you do. This can help you build genuine relationships with others, as well as with yourself. You avoid emotions. This can look like taking on a job that you don't feel comfortable with, being in a friend group that conflicts with your values and prevents you from being your true authentic self, or pushing your emotions to the side. This creates a buildup of anxiety and inner tension. You may try to find comfort in other ways by venting, getting drunk, or eating unhealthily. However, avoiding your emotions only perpetuates the cycle of neglect. Ever feel so much better after a good crying session? According to licensed psychotherapist Sharon Martin, it's important to acknowledge and process your feelings instead of neglecting them when you feel emotionally overwhelmed. You can try journaling, meditating, talking to a friend or therapist, or engaging in activities that bring you joy. If possible, try finding a job or friend group who you feel comfortable and aligned with. When you allow yourself to feel, instead of trying to push your emotions aside, you can breathe, be attentive, and heal from the things you subdue. You don't respect yourself or set boundaries. When you lack self-respect, you may tend to make choices that conflict with your values, which undermines your happiness and self-worth. Building self-respect entails recognizing your worth and establishing healthy boundaries to ensure your needs are met. Setting boundaries is a crucial component of self-care that requires communicating limits to others assertively and clearly. According to psychotherapist Joe Nash, PhD, setting boundaries not only fosters positive relationships, but also correlates with better emotional and mental health and a stronger sense of identity.
Failing to set boundaries may result in overextending yourself and neglecting your needs. It's important to communicate your boundaries clearly and assertively, even if it makes you uncomfortable at first. This can look like saying no to requests that don't align with personal values, taking breaks when necessary, and communicating needs in a relationship without feeling guilty or ashamed. How to self-abandon less. Reflect on your situation and ask yourself honest questions. Is it right for you to hold so much tension at work because you're not being your true self? Is your partner's acceptance conditional on you behaving in a certain way? Are your friends expecting you to change to fit in? With social media, we're often conditioned to seek approval from others and do what they want. By being truthful with yourself, you can recognize if you're sacrificing your authentic self for others. Remember, Psych2Goers, value yourself for who you are, not who others think you should be. Set boundaries and say yes only when you truly want to. If you neglect yourself for too long, you risk feeling anxious, depressed, and tense. A good sign that you're on the right path is feeling present and relaxed. If you enjoyed this video, please leave a like and share it with someone who might benefit from it. Click the notification bell to be notified whenever we post a new video. Are you looking for a cuddly companion that brings positivity and mental wellness to your daily life? Get your very own Sai. The lovable plushie is here to brighten your days. It embodies the spirit of Psych2Go, and it serves as a reminder to prioritize your mental well-being. Its green leaf symbolizes growth, renewal, and the importance of self-care. Whether it's for yourself or as a thoughtful gift for a loved one, Sai is ready to be your snuggly friend through all of life's ups and downs. Buy your Sai plushie today. Link is listed in the description box.
Did you or treated you unfairly? Did you recognize that you deserve better? Having self-respect means valuing and honoring yourself and knowing that you deserve to be treated with kindness and respect. One of the most important aspects of self-respect is setting boundaries. When you have a healthy sense of self-worth, you're less likely to tolerate behaviors that are harmful or disrespectful. Here are 3 key behaviors that a person with self-respect will never tolerate. Number 1, disrespectful or abusive behavior. Did you know that experiencing disrespectful or abusive behavior can have serious negative consequences on your mental and emotional well-being? Research has shown that exposure to chronic interpersonal violence, including emotional, verbal, and physical abuse, can lead to depression, anxiety, post-traumatic stress disorder, PTSD, and poor physical health outcomes. This is why it's important to establish boundaries and refuse to tolerate disrespectful or abusive behavior from anyone. This helps you maintain your sense of self-worth and protects your mental and emotional well-being. Dr. Sabrina Romanoff, an expert in trauma and abuse, stresses the importance of setting boundaries and removing yourself from abusive situations to communicate that such behavior is unacceptable and to safeguard your emotional well-being. Exposure to abusive behavior can also lead to physical health problems, such as chronic pain and cardiovascular disease. Number 2, manipulation and control. How would you feel if someone constantly tried to influence or control your thoughts and actions for their own gain? People who value their independence and autonomy understand that they're in charge of their own lives and will not let others dictate their decisions or actions. Dr. Robert Cialdini, a social psychology expert, notes that manipulation and control can take many forms, including persuasion, social influence, and conformity. For example, your manipulative partner may tell you, "If you really loved me, you would do this for me. Don't you want to make me happy?" Societal pressures may also send the implicit message, "Everyone else is doing it. You don't want to be the odd one out, do you? Just go along with the crowd." However, Dr. Cialdini also emphasizes that individuals who are aware of these tactics can better protect themselves from falling victim to manipulation and control. When it comes to protecting yourself from manipulation, remember to stay aware, set clear boundaries, trust your instincts, and verify information independently. Take the time to reflect on your values, and don't be afraid to say no. Don't hesitate to seek support from trusted individuals or professionals if you ever need it. Your well-being matters, and you deserve to be treated with respect and autonomy. You've got this. If you find this video relatable and helpful, please give the video a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. Now, moving on to the next point. Number 3, dishonesty and betrayal. Have you ever been betrayed by someone you trusted or caught someone in a lie that shattered your trust? People who value their self-respect understand that honesty and trust are foundational values for any relationship. They refuse to tolerate any behavior that involves lying or betrayal. because they know that trust is not something that can be easily regained once lost. Dr. Dan Ariely, an expert in behavioral economics and psychology, has studied the impact of dishonesty and betrayal on relationships. His research shows that even seemingly small lies can have a detrimental effect on trust and cause significant harm to personal and professional relationships. When one person in a relationship engages in dishonest behavior, even if it appears to be insignificant or harmless at first, it can create a crack in the foundation of trust that can widen over time. This erosion of trust can result in significant harm, leading to feelings of betrayal, disappointment, and even resentment. We know it can be hard to accept that we can't control how others behave, but it's important to remember that being betrayed isn't your fault. You deserve to be treated with honesty and respect. So remind yourself of your value and don't blame yourself for what others do. Make sure to surround yourself with trustworthy people who treat you with kindness and integrity. We would love to hear your thoughts. Is there anything that you refuse to tolerate from others? Feel free to share your thoughts in the comments below. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to like it and share it with your friends and family. We appreciate your support and hope you continue to tune in for more insightful content. Until next time, take care.